Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha HaKodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. Right? To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To the sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And yeah, I seen this earlier from the brother GMS Vegas sit down. And yeah, it inspired me. Some of the things that he was saying, the scriptures the brother was pulling out. Yeah, so I want to, let me back off this as well.
A lot of men within the Hebrew Israelite community are very embarrassing because they proclaim themselves to be teachers, leaders, deacons, priests, whatever title they give themselves, when in reality they are not deserving of those titles at all. Because the lack of maturity I see a lot of these men have is just crazy, because it's like they could be proven wrong about whatever they teach, and that other person can have all the evidence in the world about how they're wrong and their doctrine is false or whatever it is. Yet, they'll disregard all that, and just because they're prideful, they're going to continue to try to prove their points and make it seem like that in reality they're right when they're wrong the whole time. And it's like, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to take correction. But a lot of men within the community they can't do that. They don't know how to do that. And these are grown men that we're talking about. These are not no 20, 13, 15-year-olds. These are grown men we're talking about. And just because you're older than somebody, or you've been doing this longer, or you got all this knowledge, and you got so many books or whatever, like, that doesn't mean that you don't know, or that you shouldn't take correction, or that doesn't mean that no one can't correct you on anything. Like, you don't know everything. No one does. And if the men within the community don't know how to get rid of that pride, we won't be able to really flourish like that. Like, and the fact that the people who call themselves teachers, preachers, and all this stuff, they don't know that there's a burden and a huge responsibility on your shoulders when you call yourself that. Like, you're basically responsible for a lot of people getting into the kingdom, or receiving the right knowledge, or going down the wrong or right path. And me, I took a back seat. I used to be teaching on here a lot, and a lot of things that I taught were right. There may have been a few things that I can think about that probably were wrong, and during the beginning times of me teaching and everything. But as I went on, a lot of things that I was teaching wasn't incorrect. But I decided, you know what, I need to take a back seat. I need to humble myself and become a student again, because I need to learn more. I want to learn more. I don't want to come on this platform and continue to just spew nonsense that I may not know what I'm talking about. I want to make sure that whatever I say, whatever I do, I need to just reevaluate how I approach things, so that whenever the Most High put the Spirit back in me to come out here and probably teach again, that I'll know how I should do it this time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men don't know how to do that. Or they don't think they need to reevaluate anything. They don't think they need to, take different approaches, or they just think that, the way that they're doing things is okay, and whatever they're teaching is right, when in reality it's not. So to all the men within our community, even though I know it may not happen, because like I said, a lot of our men are just very, very prideful, very arrogant, and just like cocky, and don't know how to humble themselves at all. Even though I know like a lot of men may not care hear about doing this, but we need to humble ourselves. We need to reevaluate how we do things and how we preach, how we teach, and even take a back seat and just be a student. Be a student again and learn. Learn more, and even to the elders as well. Just because you're an elder don't mean that you can't become a student again. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how old you are, you can be a student and learn from anybody and everybody. We just gotta humble ourselves. The Bible says how, if I just paraphrasing, something about how if you're like as humble as a baby or something of that nature, then, you know, you'll get into the kingdom. Because basically a baby, they don't sit here going around acting like they know everything. But we got a lot of grown men out here who got the temper and the mindset of a child, but they don't have the spirit of a child in terms of being humble to learn things and being humble enough to know that, you know what, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I do need to, like, you know, listen to this person who's above me, or listen to this person who may be even below me, and let me not try to put myself above anybody. Let me make sure that I'm, you know, doing the right things I need to do, so that whenever I'm trying to teach something, or whenever I do go back out and reteach this or reteach that, that is correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of men don't know how to do that at all.
Yeah, so this is Matthew chapter 10, verse 32. So, I mean, the guy, you know, you're speaking about, I mean, the first thing I thought about you saying that was the Lord said, if you take your hand off the plow, right? But, you know, I'll probably get to that one next, right? But I'm gonna go right here. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 32. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, right? That's what you said. You were out there on the highways and the byway. You were doing that. So that's a good thing, right? Him will I confess before my Father, which is in heaven. And so the Lord, Yahweh Shai, being intercessor, right? The intercessor between us and the Father, the middleman, right? He being our advocate. He's saying, hey, Father, look, this guy's look at him. Look. This could be a good candidate, or whatever, what have you, right? But as soon as basically you're talking about taking your hand off the plow, I mean, basically we all make mistakes, bro. Right? You got to think. Even when the elders first started, there were things that were being taught that wasn't right necessarily. But there's a thing called you learn as you grow, right? Matter of fact, because Elder Pastor Har said something today, and it made me think of the scripture when it talks about wisdom having her perfect work. Yeah, so this is James chapter 1, and the point is in 4, but I'm gonna start at 2. It says, my brethren, right? And you're a brother, you're an Israelite, right? Count it all joy when ye fall, right? So everybody's gonna fall, bro. There's things that we're gonna go through. We're not gonna have everything correct, but we're learning as we grow, as we go. I mean, I didn't have everything correct, but I knew it was important for me to be out there. So I kept pushing. You know what I mean? Even now, like I had one of the brothers correct me recently. You know? He sent me a couple of things to look at it. He said, study it, show a thing, look like that, look at it, see what you think. Send me some of the other brothers who taught on those certain lessons. Sent the apostle that taught on that lesson. I evaluated what the other brothers taught, the way they taught it, the way the apostles taught it. And then you go back over it, and then you go through the thing, and you go, oh, okay, it really means this. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, call the brother. Hey, thank you, brother, for telling me. appreciate it, right? Now you just teach it the right way, right? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fall, right? And even though this is in diverse temptations, right? But you know that there's things that try to draw you um, out of the truth too, because you got to think that's in the sense of a diverse temptation. Something's trying to make you take your hand off the plow, right? And you got to remember, Satan is always at you, bro. Yeah, bro, you should just chill out. You should take some time and learn everything. Well, who are you going to learn from? If you say that there's these teachers, this, and that, if you ain't came across the right teachers, when will you come across the right teachers? Right? You think if you just sat back and just did nothing, oh, I'm just going to study and then I'll decide if the Lord put the spirit. But listen, bro, you don't have. We're in the last of the last. We're like in the milliseconds now of this thing of ours, man. At any time, especially with this thing Trump's doing right now, saying that he's going to quadruple the force, right? And everybody know that this is all planned. They even calling it Black Lives Matter 2.0, where they were paying people to do to basically antagonize things, man. Right? So we're in that time. The Karagma's on the scene, but you might not even know what the mark of the beast is, man. So you don't even know what time you're living in to be talking about taking your hands off the plow. But it says yeah, fall into diverse temptations. That's like, hey man, that's a lust of the flesh, or you know, a lust of foolishness, man. Right? Because you think you got time, right? I got time today. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you don't got time today. You don't have time. So knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, right? So you're gonna go through things, you're gonna fall, you're gonna go through things, but patience, you're gonna suffer. You gotta suffer through it. Sometimes you go a while, you might have to go a while not having the correct doctrine. But if it's fit for the Lord, he's gonna have someone come along and correct your doctrine, man. Right? I remember I seen Apostle Gabar, and then I showed him some of my lessons. He said that I needed to learn some more. He prayed that he said, I'll pray for you that you'll get uh, a greater understanding. I started learning, teaching, still learning. Even though I was teaching, I was still learning. I sent Apostle Gabar one of my lessons, and then he said, "Oh, you're starting to grow." And I believe that was from his prayer. And I started growing, bro. Because it's got to be the will of the Most High, man, for you to grow. I mean, hey, but let patience, and this is the point right here, let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing, right? And eventually, because what made me think of this is because Apostle Tahar was saying that at this point we're just analyzing now. We're taking things and then we're analyzing, and I was just like, wow, yeah, that's like patience. Let patience have her perfect work. We're analyzing things. We went from, you know, yelling at Esau, "F you, you're the devil," da da da, to you know, to now we're basically we're growing, right? Seeing some of those the apostles, seeing some of those old doctrines, the breakdowns, went back over them, found out some of them were a little off or a little screw, or some of them were completely off. The Holy Spirit was dealing with them, gave us, GMS, right? They're the only ones that can pretty much say they have the 100% doctrine. So where are you getting your doctrine from, bro? Sound like you're scatterbrained, bro. You're learning from a bunch of different people, and that's what's gonna happen, man. But you cannot. There ain't no taking no breaks in this thing, right? Because when I thought of even thinking about, the Lord put fear in me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, bro. You even think about doing something like that, it should be fearing you. That's what happened to me. I had fear. If I even thought about doing any of that type of thing, you know, and I get it. Sometimes you're alone, and that's what happened with me, man. I was out teaching by myself most of the time. I felt, and the Lord found where I had brothers that I go out and teach with now, and that's a benefit, and having the right teachers. You know what I mean? Yeah, let me come back to Matthew 10 and 33. It said, but whosoever, right? Because we gotta let wisdom have her perfect work within you, right? But whosoever shall deny, saying, and in this point, it's almost like you're denying the Lord. I know you're not, but then you are, in a sense, right? Whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father, which is in heaven. Yeah, Luke chapter 9, verse 62. It says, and Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because at this point, that's what it is. It's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's kingdom, right? Because the Lord is about to give it over to Yahushai, right? And you're talking about doing that, and basically it's like you're letting your hand off the plow. You're denying the Lord. I mean, you're not denying him, but then you are denying him by not doing the work. Especially if you already started teaching, that's a scary thing. That's scary. That's the one thing I fear the most, right? Not getting on those chariots and then not teaching. That's scary. It's very scary, bro. Yeah, so this is Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. It says, let us not be weary in well-doing. See? So, and basically, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're not supposed to be weary in well-doing. Don't let this thing cast a burden upon you, right? Which just speaks about that in the Apocrypha, man. Right? About not letting this thing have a burden upon you. It says, let not us be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap. Yeah, see, and that's ultimately what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to let go of the plow in the midst of all this, because there ain't a lot of right teaching, or there is a bunch of teaching. You figure, that's how I want to do too. But I'm gonna get. I'll do that after I get to this, because since you said that, that too. So I'm gonna say shall reap, and if we faint not, right? If we faint not, Salakia. And that's ultimately what it is, man. If you don't quit, if you don't give up, if we faint not, you will reap. You know what I mean? So as we have, therefore, opportunity, and this is your opportunity, bro. You out there teaching, you're doing your thing. It's your opportunity. Now, maybe you got some things wrong, but you know what? Let me go in and get it because it's on my mind, right? Yeah. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 19, verse 24. He that haveth a small understanding and fear of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, is better than one that haveth much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. And seeing that would have been better for you, right, to just teach the basics. If you felt like there were things that you were teaching right, and then you know the things that you were teaching wrong, well, stop teaching it wrong and only teach what you know. Right? Right? And if I was you, I would have been trying to watch the Men of Great Millstone and learn. But you know what you're trying to learn from everybody, which made you a double-minded man, unstable in all your ways. What is the other scriptures? It says something about tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. So all these different camps, though they're all saying that we're Israelites, all of them have a different doctrine. So you got a different wind of doctrine. And so you're not an adult, right? Right? You're just a child. If that's where you're going. But you were supposed to teach what you need to, until you could grow. But you don't let go of the plow, man. Right? It says, there is an exquisite subtlety, see, and that's ultimately what it looked like you're trying to do to me. And the same is unjust. Right? It says, and there is one that turneth aside to make judgment. So now you really you're just coming in with your subtlety, trying to make judgment. Well, there's a lot of different elders and things, and they say that, and they don't not be man enough to take criticism and this and that, and blah 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 blah. So what? Right? A man with he that haveth small understanding and fear for Yahweh is better than one that haveth much wisdom, man. So what, man? But see, the whole thing is you're coming with the subtlety, man. And then you're trying to judge everybody. Right? Yeah, it's turn aside judgment appear. Yeah, you're trying to make it appear to be something, Like, damn, the brother got a point. I feel him on, but what about you just not teaching? I'm just going to be a student all of. Well, we're in the last seconds of the last day. Well, do you even know what the mark of the beast is? Do you know what times you're in? I don't think you do. Because you would know it's not time to not be teaching. Right? And there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. Right? And there is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inward he is full of deceit. And that bro, I'm telling you, you're talking about all this other stuff, and it kind of seems like that's what you're doing. You know what I mean? How could you stop teaching? right? Because matter of fact, yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 3, right? The point is 11. It says, behold, I come quickly. See, and if you know what times you're living in, you know that the Lord is coming quickly, right? Hold fast. This is what it is. Hold fast that which thus has. So whatever learning you do have and whatever you are teaching correct, teach that. Teach the basics, bro. Stick to the basics. That's the best way to do it. If you got to just go back to teaching Deuteronomy 28, 68, hold on to that. You know what I mean? Yahushai, Matthew 1 and 21. Yahushai, they say you should have a son. He should die for his people, for their sins, and they should call him Yahushai. Oh well, the letter J is only 4,500 years old. Why are we calling him Yahushai? There's no E's, there's no U's in the Hebrew. Breaking it down simple, right? Right? The Gentiles are Israelites. There's a thing called Hellenistas or Hellenists, and those people are talking about the Israelites. Stick to the basics. It don't gotta be deep dark sayings, right? You know, you don't gotta stick to what you do know, right? Hold fast, hold that fast which thus hast, that no man take thy crown. And then Apostle Gabar always speaks about how we're our own worst enemy, man. Right? We are our own worst enemy. Right? Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 75. It says, be not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, is your guide, right? Because the Lord is supposed to guide you, bro. He's going to guide you in the right direction. So you can't be afraid. If this is what you're trying to do, or you think this is just a fad, right? This is deadly serious, man. Right? And the guide of them who keep my commandments and my precepts. See? So if you're not keeping the commandments and keeping the precepts to the best of your ability, right? Saith the outer one, right? Power, the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Let not your sins weigh you down. Let not your iniquities lift up themselves, man. And you can't let other things hold weight heavy on you that you don't go out and teach. It doesn't make sense. Right? Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 55 verse 7 says, let the wicked forsake his way, right? And that's ultimately what the whole point of you going out there is because you forsook your way. I did all the things I needed to do. I pushed aside my sins, my iniquities. I pushed them to the side, and you don't let them lift up themselves against you, right? And even if they do, you still go out and push. You go out and teach. You never quit. You never give up, bro. Right? Because you know what I mean? Resist the devil and he will flee, man, eventually. Right? It says, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, and he will have mercy upon him, and to and to our power, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, for he will abundantly pardon. See, you messed up, but the Lord said he winked at your ignorance, man. And if it's fit for it, the Lord will bring you someone, teachers. You will find the men of Great Millstone at some point in time, and you will realize, hey, these are the true teachers, man. And you'll get one. You'll stick to this doctrine, and you won't go astray. You won't get tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine that come by because they seem cool. Because you got Hebrews in the Hellcat. You got, if you ain't smoking weed in the truth, you don't know what, you ain't in the truth. If you ain't with wearing all black, hollering at somebody that's a general, right? Where's there generals in the Bible, man? Right? The only high priest is Yahweh Shai. So what's up with that? Right? Tell you, bro. It is crazy. You know? You can't be worried about all this other stuff. You know? The Lord will abundantly pardon. For he will abundantly pardon, man. Man, we need some of that. Right? For my thoughts are not your thoughts, right? Neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? And of course, you can keep reading. Of course, it's I guess for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Period, man. That's it, man. There's, no way around it, man. You know. Yeah, come back here because I have all these thoughts, and I'm gonna end up not coming back to where I was at. So let me make sure I come back and finish this. This is Galatians chapter 6, verse 10. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men. Right? Because that's what you're doing. And those all men are Israelites. It's not talking about everybody in the world. It's talking about Israelites. All men, all Israelites. You have a certain faith level, right? Because the Lord said that He has given every man his basically his portion of faith, right? So you have your portion of faith, but you're supposed to use your portion of faith for the other men who don't know. You know what I mean? Or men that do know. Really, because this thing is mostly us teaching to other men who know, right? I don't think I've ever seen anyone around the brothers that we be around that they can't learn from another brother. That's what we're here for. That's the reason why Apostle Hart set out the decree for us to do so many lessons. Right? It's kind of hard to see them all, but we learn from other brothers all the time. And we're not saying, oh, look at that brother. That brother's a new brother. And what did he do? How he don't got no right to be teaching me something. No, the brother put out his lesson. He put out an edifying lesson. You listen to it, you be like, oh, wow, that was pretty good. Even if it's some things that you heard before, it's a pick-me-up. Dang, if a little young brother just got here and he pushing a lesson like that, man, I got to do me a lesson. Matter of fact, maybe I got to do 2 lessons because just to give you that, man. Right? Give you that edge. Not really necessarily competitive, but it gives you that push. It's your opportunity. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, right, which are Israelites, especially unto them who are, right, who are of the household of faith, man. You see, you can't make this up. Can't make this. I mean, it is what it is, man. That's exactly, you know. Yeah. So yeah, with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold, Shalom, to you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson, and a Baba Ball, Kwame Sharala.